Hey guys, Brandon Hayes here with Renegade Cigars, and I'm with the one and only Gordon Will. For the 2 or 3 people in the world that don't know who you are, tell us who you are and what you do for a living.
Well, I'm Gordon Will from Dallas, Texas, and I work for Rocky Patel Premium Cigars, regional sales manager for Texas and Oklahoma.
How did you get involved with Rocky Patel Cigars?
It fell in my lap. I happened to be out of a job in '09, and I had a good friend that was the original Rocky Patel rep, and he approached me, wanted to know if I wanted to sell cigars, and the rest is history. Been doing it for 10 years now.
And what area do you cover?
I cover North Texas and all of Oklahoma.
You know, we talked about this briefly in one of our videos before, Scott and I did, but Rocky Patel has been one of our best-selling brands here at the store, has been since day one. In fact, kind of a funny story, when I met Gordon, when I first bought Renegade, I think Rocky Patel was maybe one of the only accounts they had, and I think every single cigar that Rocky Patel made, they had in the humidor. And I sat down with Gordon, I said, look, this is my vision for the store, and I want to continue to support Rocky. I said, but I can't give you my entire humidor anymore. And I think that we both probably expected that sales were going to go down a little bit. And I think that even though we scaled it back at the time, which we've grown it a little bit each year, we've probably both been impressed, or at least I have been, that it's continued to sell very, very well here. But what do you think it is that makes Rocky so successful in retail stores?
Well, one is Rocky himself, because he's got a great personality. He's got a tremendous passion for the industry. He's been doing this now for 25 years. He's one of the most respected guys in the industry, and he fights very strongly for our industry. So I think that, and he does a great marketing job. So all of those things kind of rolled into one, not discounting the quality of his cigars and the newness of his cigars that he comes out with every year. It just adds a little fuel to the fire.
One thing that always impresses me about the line is how consistent they are. I think most people can create a good cigar, with the right materials and the right palettes and the right minds together, they can create a good cigar. But it always impresses me that, the Rocky Patel decade that I smoked when I first started smoking cigars tastes the exact same today. And I think that's another thing, just from a retail perspective. I think the consistency is important, and I think that Rocky, the company as a whole, probably does as good of a job or better of a job of that than anybody else on the market.
Yeah, he's a big stickler for quality control, and making sure that the guy that smoked that 1990, 5 years ago, if he picks it up today, it's going to smoke exactly the same.
One thing that's important, and I don't know that this gets enough press, but I've touched on it and you briefly did a second ago, but kind of what Rocky's doing right now for the industry. I think that people probably read headlines and they know that we're becoming regulated by the FDA. There's a lot of concerns about the future of the industry. Is Rocky just stroking checks? Is he in Washington fighting for the rights? Is he sitting on boards? What's he doing to help kind of protect us?
He's probably in the last 5 years spent more time in DC than he has at home, walking the halls of Congress and talking and trying to get people on board with some of our bills that we're trying to get introduced to protect the premium to protect the premium cigar industry. So he's been doing a lot of work and writing a lot of checks too. But most of it's beating the pavement, talking to people.
He was actually an attorney before he was in cigars, correct?
Yeah.
So he's using some of that experience to help fight for us.
He can speak their language pretty well, and he's got a good following. He knows a lot of people, so he's been working very, very hard with this FDA thing.
I think that's I think that plays into it. The cigars are good cigars, but I think the people that really know what he's doing, it creates that deeper brand loyalty to the brand, because we really enjoy what we have, the freedoms that we have. There's probably not a better place for like-minded guys to get together than at a cigar shop or at a country club with a cigar. And the fact that that's being threatened, and not just one, but one in particular. You know, Rocky's really going out of his way to help protect those rights. It's something I appreciate, makes me want to support them, and I think a lot of the consumers are doing the same thing.
Very true. Very true.
So, out of your line, what do you typically smoke?
My favorite cigar out of the entire line is the 15th anniversary. It's very rich, flavorful smoke, Habano wrapper, Nicaraguan binder filler, but it's got really great flavor. Dark cocoa, little coffee bean notes, hints of spice. But I like them all. I smoke them all, but that is my number one go-to.
I think, and you recently brought it back, I think my go-to for years was the Old World Reserve. I remember buying that cigar by the box early in my cigar smoking career, and it's still a really good cigar. But it went away for a little bit. It's back, but y'all have released some new stuff here lately that I think is interesting. ALR2. I've been smoking a lot of that here lately. A lot of good products. Outside of cigars, what do you like to do?
Well, I play a little golf, and I drink a lot of scotch.
What's your scotch of choice?
My favorite scotch is complimentary, but I'm not on any one brand. I like blends. I like single malts. So just whatever.
Just a good cigar and a good scotch.
That's exactly right.
Awesome. So I typically end our interviews with kind of a rapid fire. Just going to ask you a couple questions, short answers, okay? Who keeps you out later, Nish or Rocky?
Rocky.
Rocky. What's your handicap?
Right now, it's probably a 13.
13. Scotch or tequila?
Oh, definitely scotch.
City vacation or beach vacation?
City vacation and a little bit on the bay. San Francisco.
That's your favorite?
Yeah.
Awesome. And if you weren't selling cigars, what would you be doing?
Probably sitting at home right now, smoking a cigar.
Awesome, man. Thanks for spending some time with us today.
My pleasure.